There are moments in life when silence feels heavier than words, and Hollywood has carried that silence for far too long. Behind every red carpet smile, behind every shining award, behind every blockbuster film, there are stories that were never told. Stories of pain, stories of betrayal, stories of power and control. Imagine a young actor stepping into the world of fame, full of dreams and hope, only to discover that the very system that promised success was built on secrets. Imagine a singer whose voice touched millions, but who behind the scenes cried alone because the truth of her struggles could never be spoken. Imagine stars who were trapped in contracts, in scandals, in lies, and yet they smiled for the cameras because they had no choice. Hollywood is not just an industry, it is a machine, and that machine works tirelessly to hide its cracks. But no matter how carefully the truth is buried, no matter how tightly the silence is enforced, the weight of secrets eventually becomes too heavy. Whispers turn into rumors, rumors turn into headlines, and headlines become the voice of millions who refuse to stay silent anymore. The truth Hollywood tried to hide is not about one story, it is about many. It is about broken dreams and shattered illusions. It is about legal battles and public storms. It is about fans who demanded answers and stars who risked everything to finally speak. So today, we take you beyond the lights, beyond the cameras, and beyond the masks. We uncover the world that Hollywood built on silence, and the truths that silence could never hold forever. Stay with us, because once these secrets are revealed, you will never see Hollywood the same way again. Hollywood has always been presented as a shining dream, a place where everything looks perfect and magical. When we see the red carpets, we see stars glowing under the lights, we see million-dollar gowns sparkling, and we see smiles that look so natural, so effortless. From the outside, it feels like heaven. It feels like a life without pain or struggle. But what if, behind those smiles, there are tears that never reach the public? What if behind those glittering eyes, there is a silent cry for help? This is the reality that Hollywood never wants the world to notice. Many actors have described the feeling of being trapped in a cage that is made of gold. It looks beautiful, but inside it feels suffocating. They are admired by millions, yet they cannot show who they really are. Every word they speak, every move they make is controlled. Every appearance is designed to hide the truth. Imagine a young actress who has just stepped into fame. She walks her first red carpet, her heart filled with hope, but her smile carefully trained by the people around her. She is told to never speak about her fears, to never share her real struggles, because the world must only see perfection. Her laughter on stage hides her anxiety backstage. Her confident pose in front of cameras hides the loneliness she feels when the lights go off. And she is not alone. There are countless stars who play the same role every single day. They laugh when they want to cry, they smile when they feel broken, and they hide pain behind the mask of glamour. The truth is that the Hollywood mask is heavy. It forces stars to bury their real selves under a layer of performance that never ends. The mask shines brightly for the audience, but it also hides the cost of living in silence. This is the side of Hollywood that no studio shows and no magazine cover prints. It is a world where silence is demanded, where truth is hidden, and where the human soul is sacrificed for the sake of image. The glamour is breathtaking, but behind it lies a fragile reality, a reality that can shatter at any moment. For decades, Hollywood has been built on two things: dreams and silence. But sometimes the silence breaks, and when it does, the world sees a side of Hollywood that was never meant to be seen. Every era has its scandals, moments when the truth could no longer stay hidden, moments when the perfect mask of fame cracked wide open. And every time it happens, the public is left shocked, wondering how something so dark could exist in a world that looked so beautiful on the outside. Imagine the headlines flashing across screens, breaking news about a beloved star suddenly caught in a storm. Fans who once admired them now struggle to understand the truth. The same magazines that once praised them now print stories filled with scandal. And behind those stories lies an even bigger question. What is the truth, and what has been carefully rewritten by powerful hands? Some scandals were about secret relationships hidden from the public because studios feared losing millions. Others were about financial battles where stars discovered they had been cheated out of their own earnings. And many scandals revealed darker truths about exploitation, manipulation, and abuse. Stories that no one wanted to talk about, but stories that refused to stay buried. One by one, these scandals shook the very foundation of Hollywood. Fans who once admired the image. Hollywood understands one rule better than anyone else. Perception is everything. No matter how big the scandal, no matter how deep the truth, the story that reaches the public decides what people believe. For decades, mainstream media acted as the voice of Hollywood. Magazines wrote glowing reviews, newspapers celebrated stars, and television reporters presented carefully chosen interviews. It all looked so polished, so perfect. But what the audience did not see was how much of that story was controlled. Imagine a scandal breaking behind the scenes, a star caught in controversy, a truth that could destroy careers. Instead of allowing the full story to reach the public, powerful voices step in. Headlines are rewritten, details are softened, interviews are canceled, and suddenly the storm looks smaller than it really is. For fans watching from a distance, the picture feels real because it comes from trusted sources. But what they do not realize is that truth and image are often two very different things. There have been countless moments when the media turned a blind eye to protect the industry. Stories that could have shaken Hollywood were buried with one simple headline change. And when the media finally did speak, it was often only after public pressure grew too strong to ignore. But something changed with time. As social media grew louder, the control of mainstream media began to fade. Ordinary people started to question the stories they were being told. Fans noticed contradictions, they compared interviews, they dug through old footage. And slowly, the trust that media once enjoyed began to crumble. Public perception became more powerful than the studios ever imagined, because no matter how hard the media tried to paint a picture, the audience now had the tools to paint their own. And when the truth finally broke through the walls, it was the public that carried it forward, louder than any headline ever could. The role of media has always been double-edged. It can protect the powerful, but it can also empower the weak. It can hide the truth, but it can also amplify it. And in Hollywood, the war between image and reality has always been fought on the battlefield of perception. There was a time when Hollywood controlled every story. If a scandal appeared, studios silenced it. If a rumor spread, magazines rewrote it. If the truth threatened to escape, powerful voices buried it. But that time did not last forever, because a new stage appeared, a stage that no studio could fully control. That stage was social media. Platforms like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube became modern-day courtrooms. Ordinary fans became investigators, hashtags became protests, and viral videos became louder than the headlines of the biggest newspapers. Imagine a fan noticing something strange in an interview. They replay the clip again and again, they share it online, and within hours, millions of people are watching the same detail that studios hoped would go unseen. Soon, hashtags start trending, questions start rising, and silence becomes impossible. This is the power of social media. It does not wait for permission, it does not need approval, it does not ask for headlines to be printed. It spreads faster than any red carpet photo ever could. We have seen entire careers rise and fall because of digital waves, fans demanding justice, audiences calling out lies. Movements that began with a single post grew into storms that shook Hollywood to its core. For the first time in history, stars could speak directly to their fans without a studio shaping their words. Some used this power to share their struggles openly. Others used it to fight back against false narratives. And some paid the price when their truths became too heavy for the industry to accept. But one thing became clear. Hollywood could no longer hide behind silence, because the audience had found its voice, and that voice was louder than ever before. Social media turned the spotlight back on Hollywood, not the carefully managed spotlight of studios, but the raw, unfiltered spotlight of millions of people demanding answers. It reminded the world that fame may be powerful, but truth, when shared by many, is unstoppable. When the cameras flash and the lights shine, the world sees perfection. They see stars smiling, they see expensive clothes, they see happiness that looks unshakable. But behind those lights, behind those carefully posed smiles, lies a truth that is rarely spoken. Many celebrities live with a constant weight that the world does not see. They wake up every day knowing that millions of eyes are watching them. Every word they speak, every outfit they wear, every action they take is judged. They are praised one moment and torn apart the next. Imagine living in a house so big, yet feeling completely alone. Imagine having millions of fans, yet struggling to find a single person to trust. Imagine smiling on stage while your heart quietly breaks backstage. This is the hidden side of Hollywood fame. It gives everything on the surface, but it takes away the most precious things: peace, privacy, and sometimes even identity. Some stars have spoken about how fame turned into a prison. They described the fear of losing their careers if they revealed their struggles. They described the loneliness of not knowing who was a true friend and who only wanted to benefit from their name. And they described the pressure of always being perfect, even when they were falling apart inside. There are countless stories of actors and singers who cried in silence while the world celebrated their success. Stories of stars who felt broken while everyone else called them powerful. Stories of people who gave everything to the industry, yet received very little love in return. And when some of them tried to speak out, they faced backlash. They were told to stay quiet, to keep smiling, to remember that their image mattered more than their reality. But the truth cannot be hidden forever. The cracks always appear, the pain always shows, and the mask eventually becomes too heavy to carry. The hidden side of celebrity lives is not about wealth or luxury. It is about the cost of constantly pretending. It is about the silent battles that no fan gets to see. And it is about the emotional scars left behind by an industry that values image more than humanity. For years, Hollywood has survived on silence. It has depended on stars who kept their pain hidden, on studios that erased stories, and on a system that punished those who dared to speak out. But history shows that no secret can remain buried forever. There comes a moment when the silence becomes unbearable. A moment when the weight of truth grows too heavy to carry. And in that moment, stars who were once silent finally break free. Imagine a press conference where a celebrity stands before cameras, their voice trembling, their eyes filled with tears. They speak words that the world never expected to hear, words that had been hidden for years. And as they speak, the silence shatters, the mask collapses, and the truth bursts into the open. The world listens in shock. Fans who once believed the perfect image now realize the pain behind it. Support pours in from millions of people who feel betrayed by the lies they were shown. And at the same time, powerful voices in Hollywood scramble to protect themselves as the secrets they buried begin to surface. Social media explodes with reactions, hashtags trend, and videos spread faster than the studios can control. The truth that was once locked away becomes impossible to silence, because now it belongs to the people. When silence breaks, it does not just change the life of one star, it changes the entire industry. It forces the world to confront the hidden side of Hollywood. It forces studios to answer questions they avoided for decades. And it forces fans to see that behind the red carpets and flashing cameras, there were always human beings struggling to be heard. Breaking the silence is never easy. It takes courage, it takes sacrifice, and sometimes it costs everything. But every time a voice rises, it inspires others to do the same. And slowly, the walls of secrecy begin to fall, brick by brick. Hollywood has always tried to hide its truths, but once silence breaks, nothing can put those truths back into the shadows. The light is too bright, the voices are too loud, and the world is finally ready to listen. Hollywood will always remain a place of dreams. It will continue to create stories that inspire millions. But alongside those dreams, there will always be questions. Questions about what is real and what is hidden. Questions about the price of fame and the cost of silence. And maybe that is the lesson for us all, that behind every image, there is a story. Behind every smile,